Hi, I'm Jordan Long, and today I'm making a film called Not Made for Kids. Now, there's this new oversight that's coming to YouTube, and it's not just a YouTube thing, it's probably coming to every other film holding website out there that one has a reckoning with. Now, this law has a name called the Children Protection Act, or the Children Protecting Privacy Act, or the Children Shielding One's Own Deed. Now, at first, you might look at the law and think, okay, it has something to do with one's own. Yeah. First, it's shielding children from seeing films that are not right or not kid friendly. It's also shielding one's own, like whose their name is, where they live, how old they are, things like that. And so on YouTube, everyone has to be earnest and frankful and true and give themselves a rating. Either they're making films for kids or they're not making film for kids. Now, you can pick either one to two, but if you don't pick it, YouTube will pick for you. And if YouTube makes a mistake, you can always go and shift back. You can always tell them it was a mistake. And then you could always shift on what you believe your is. If you believe, okay. Now, we all know that our films, a lot of them, are not kid friendly. We're not made for kids. Go look at some of my popular films, some of my most watched films, and you'll see that there's stuff in them, or at least things I'm talking about, that might not be kid friendly. So I picked Not Made for Kids, and I'm being earnest with that. All right? I'm not one of those folks out there that's going to be like Sean View Entertainment and then claim, oh, I'm doing it for Wiship. I'm not going to be like Christopher Westland Chandler, who makes really sometimes unlawful things on YouTube. And I'm not going to be like, Michael Green, the kid behind the camera, and lie about all the stuff that I'm doing in my films and then say it's all show playing. Now, to be truthful with any of that, I don't make any film for kids. Okay? Some of my most watched films are things that are not kid friendly, not kin friendly. Now, there might be someone out there that goes, well, Jordan, are you frightened that you might lose some of your followers? Well, a lot of my followers on YouTube are grown up. So if I lose some followers, it is what it is. But I think almost everyone who watches me are grown up, And if there are others that are younger than that watching my films, they really shouldn't be watching them in the first stead. Jolly Wally! So apparently now everyone's going to be making either films for kids or films not for kids. Firefly Funhouse is for kids. Yeah, I guess if you overlook the truth that you say, see you all in hell, and you beat up on your friends, and, and you have the Fiend going around doing evil shit, then one would say you're not for kids. How can you say that? Well, I'm telling the truth, Bray Wyatt. You going to be earnest with yourself, or are you going to be one of those that like lies? Because if you lie, you're really going to be in a bind with the law. Oh, geez, I guess you're right about that. I guess I gotta pick either made for kids or made not for kids. Yeah, there's going to be folks out there like Bray. There are going to be folks out there who are making films for kids, and that was their whole thing, and it won't matter. It won't need for them. They'll just click I made it's made for kids, and that'll be the end of it. All right. And then there's going to be those who are like me, who either sometimes curse in their films or talk about things that, well, it doesn't actually break the YouTube followership oversight or anything like that, but still might not be kid friendly. And I know there's going to be someone out there who's going to ask, oh, what about YouTube Kids? Yeah, well, when this new law is made or already is made, it's not going to need if there's a YouTube for kids or not. Everyone on YouTube's going to have to give themselves a rating or be given a rating for their work, for picking who's watching their films, their followers, you know. And I know it's going to be hard for everyone to do that, but it is what it is. Yeah. Well, you don't have to fear about that, you know, because I never did anything wrong when it came to kids. Everyone likes a Firefly Funhouse. Yeah, well, if you were doing it on YouTube, you'd have to pick either for kids or made for kids or not made for kids. And then you'd have to be earnest about all the stuff you were doing in it. Like if there was wrestling and fighting or you were beating up on your friends. And be earnest, Bray, you do beat up on your friends sometimes. Especially you beat up on that hare all the time. You had the bird kill the hare more than once. Seth Rollins busted up the Firefly Funhouse and put it on fire once. And the Fiend actually did some evil shit. So I would actually say you were not made for kids. How can you say that? How can I say that? Well, I saw the stuff you did on all your Firefly Funhouses. So if you were doing it on YouTube, you would have to pick made for kids or made not for kids. All right? But then since it's a WWE show, WWE had already picked on already went on their YouTube and already picked either they made it for kids or made it not for kids. But since WWE, mostly all their followers happen to be kids, I don't really think it was going to be a hang for them. Geez, you're right about that. I don't think I got anything to be frightened about, Jordan, since WWE's already made for kids. And I know that pisses a lot of wrestling followers off, but it is what it is. Yes, you're right about that. And I know there's going to be some folks out there thinking, oh, well, Jordan, are you frightened that even if you picked made not for kids, you're still going to be in a bind? No. If I pick not made for kids and I follow everything and I'm following the YouTube fellowship oversight and I'm following everything and I'm following the way the law says I need to do, I'm not going to be in a bind of anyone. Because when that new law comes in, they're going to look at that and say, not made for kids, okay, you can't watch that. And that's going to be the end of it. You know, they're not going to come on and say, oh, well, Jordan, you still got these for your... they're not going to come on and say, well, Jordan, you still, if I have followers who are kids, by the time January comes along, they're going to be unfollowed from me anyway. And mostly all my followers are grown up. So I'm not really frightened of that. And I'm not frightened of someone, getting me on something. Because I already know some of the stuff I did on my films, all right? So I'm not frightened of getting in a bind with the law or anything like that. I'm not. YouTube knows I already picked made not for kids. All right? They know that. And as far as the leadership goes, they know that I haven't done nothing wrong and never did anything unlawful. All right? So no, I'm not in a bind with it. The only ones that should be frightened would either be the kid behind the camera for all the shit he's done to kids and his films over the years, both on Angry Grandpa and his own. The things that Sean View's done in his films, he needs to be frightened of. And we know Christopher Wendler Chandler, if he's still on YouTube, he needs to be frightened because he's done a lot of unlawful stuff. I'm not like them. I never did anything wrong to anyone. So I had nothing to be frightened of. Well, Jolly Wally, Jordan. Apparently there's a big shift, Well, I don't think you got nothing to be frightened of, Well, I don't. And Jordan, anytime you want to come to the Firefly Funhouse, you're welcome. Well, thank you, Bray Wyatt. All right. That's all the time I got here. I'm Jordan Long, and I'll see you later.